Good evening. We're glad you're with us. I'm Terry Brewer. Lynn Brooks has the night off. A University of Alabama football player is recovering from his injuries, and two other men are facing charges after a chaotic scene on Tuscaloosa Strip early this morning. The details are in our top story tonight at 5 o'clock. We have some exclusive television video for you from WVUA. The Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit has confirmed a 20-year-old student was injured but has not given any identity. The Associated Press is reporting Crimson Tide receiver DeAndrew White was hospitalized after an early morning fight where shots were fired. The homicide unit says a fight broke out on the Strip just after 2 o'clock this morning and a crowd formed. Investigators say that's when a pair of suspects pulled out handguns and fired them into the air, allegedly trying to disperse the crowd. Police have arrested Ryan Javaris Hamilton and Kwame Rakesh Tolbert. They're charged with reckless endangerment. The homicide unit also says a 31-year-old man was found unconscious laying on the sidewalk on University Boulevard. It's not clear if this is related to the fight. The homicide unit described his injuries as serious.
Sometime during the first fight that happened in the 1300 block, two males arrived who had not been involved in the altercation. They both fired a pistol in the air, they say, to disperse the crowd. Both of those males have been charged with reckless endangerment.
Officials say the two suspects are not students at the University of Alabama. Now, the university has also released a statement about the incident. It says, in part, the security and well-being of our students and employees is one of our highest priorities. Because of the potential ongoing threat to the campus and surrounding community, UA deployed UA Alerts and our emergency notification alert system. When officers confirmed both suspects were in custody, UA used the same system to notify students and employees the threat of danger had passed. That's from Deborah Lane, Assistant Vice President for University Relations, and WVUA is working to get more information from the UA Athletic Department on DeAndrew White and his condition. Also on your crime watch, a Tuscaloosa teacher has been arrested for allegedly having a sexual relationship with a student. According to Tuscaloosa Police Sergeant Brent Blankley, the suspect was a teacher at Central High School at the time of the alleged incident. Authorities say Jennifer Hawk Elabash has been charged with attempted school employee engaging in a sex act or deviant sexual intercourse with a student under 19 years old, plus school employee having sexual contact with a student under the age of 19 years old and harassment. Officials say the victim was 16 years old at the time of the incident. Elabash turned herself into police this morning on multiple warrants from grand jury indictments. Authorities say the report was filed last October when a student reported the incident to the police. Tuscaloosa City Schools says Elabash was removed from her position on September 30th, 2011 after the systems investigation. The statement said, as a system, they were shocked and saddened by the allegations. Behavior that places children at risk will not be tolerated. Well, the reigning national championship football team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, made a special appearance at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue today. WVUA's John Huddleston joins us now with more on Bama's trip to the White House. John?
Hey, Terry. Yeah, it was a big day for the Tide as they, along with Coach Nick Saban, were honored in the Rose Garden. President Obama held a special ceremony honoring the Tide's latest national championship. This is the third trip to the White House for Coach Nick Saban. Alabama also went to the White House with Saban after his 2009 national championship, and the coach took LSU on the same trip after its title run in 2003. Obama says this was a special season for the Tide on the field and also commended the Tide for their work in the community following the April 27th tornado. Now, we will have much more on their trip coming up a little bit later on in Alabama's home team sports. Terry?
All right, thank you, John. As we draw closer to the one-year mark of the April 27th tornado, there are questions being asked about why some damaged structures are still standing in Tuscaloosa, like the CVS on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Meredith Lynch with the city of Tuscaloosa says officials have been in constant contact with the property owner. CVS received a demolition permit on February 13th of this year and received a land development permit on March 12th. The city says the ball is now in the property owner's court. According to Lynch, on March 8th, the city received building plans from the property owner to take steps forward with rebuilding. And we have a special programming note for you. Alabama's home team will have special coverage all week leading up to April 27th. It begins Monday when we'll be live from the Rosedale community. Tuesday, we've got special coverage from the Forest Lake neighborhood. Our coverage continues on Wednesday from Alberta City, and Thursday, we're at Holt. It will all wrap up on Friday when we broadcast the city's memorial service live from Coleman Coliseum. We have many special reports all week right here for you on WVUA News. Also, be sure to join WVUA next week for a special presentation dedicated to everyone touched by the April 27th storms. Our hour-long documentary, Faces of the Storm, will air every night next week. You can see it at 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and on Friday, April 27th, Faces of the Storm will air immediately following WVUA News at 6. The special presentation is a look at the people impacted by the storm and their stories of loss, survival, and hope. Faces of the Storm will be brought to you commercial-free with special thanks to DCH and Nucor. WVUA is covering the Alabama legislature, where lawmakers are taking a step forward to approve a tax holiday for severe weather and emergency supplies. The House has passed Tuscaloosa Representative Bill Poole's bill. Some of the items it would cover include weather radios, portable generators, smoke detectors, and first aid kits. If it's approved, the sales tax holiday would be held the last full weekend of February, which corresponds with Severe Weather Awareness Week. That bill now heads to the Alabama Senate. Also from the state legislature, a Senate committee approved an education budget that cuts funds for K-12 schools and higher education next year. The Finance and Taxation Education Committee approved a $5.5 billion education budget for the next school year. That's about $150 million less than this year. Officials expect to take in about the same amount of education revenue next year as this year, but a state law enacted last year limits how much can be spent in order to build up a reserve. That's why the proposed budget is less. This proposal cuts K-12 schools just over 1% and universities nearly 5%. Well, today marks 19 years since 76 people died in a fire at a religious cult compound in Waco, Texas. On April 19, 1993, a fire started at the Branch Davidian compound as federal agents raided the building. Cult leader David Koresh was among those who died. 4 federal agents were also killed. The disaster came after weeks of confrontations between Branch Davidians and agents with the FBI and the ATF. Today also marks 17 years since the Oklahoma City bombing, the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil prior to 9/11. On April 19, 1995, a bomb destroyed most of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. 168 people, including 19 children and a daycare center, were killed. More than 500 survivors were injured. Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols were convicted of the attack. McVeigh claimed he targeted the building as revenge for the FBI raid on the Branch Davidian compound in Waco. He was executed in 2001. Nichols remains in prison. Services were held today at the Oklahoma City National Memorial, which sits on the former site of the federal building. On your Health Watch, fighting Alzheimer's disease. Experts say one weapon is to get moving. A new study says staying active is just as important as exercising your brain when it comes to battling Alzheimer's. Experts say participants who scored in the bottom 10% of physical activity were more than twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's. Physical activity is more than just exercise. It includes chores, cooking, and even gardening. They say the study shows people who are unable to exercise can do other physical activities to lower their risk for the disease. Well, folks in West Alabama had the chance to learn more about the McDonald's hot coffee case today. A special screening of the HBO documentary Hot Coffee was held at the UA School of Law. There was also a panel discussion to answer questions featuring the film's director and producer. It was sponsored by the Prince Glover and Hayes law firm and the Cochran firm. Tonight, you can learn more about the case on a special edition of WVUA Law Call. The film's director, Susan Saladoff, will join us for a special 1-hour show. That's tonight at 6:30, immediately following WVUA News at 6.